Okay, here are examples. I'm going to do 18, 19, sum of 20 from page 31. And if you're anything like me, you looked at this and went, what in the world is going on? I have no idea how to do this. Okay, so I'm going to break it down for you. Now, it tells us that one roll equals 50 dimes. And then it says, think 50 dimes per roll times 20 rolls, 5 times 2 times 10 times 10. And I went, what are you talking about? The only thing I can figure out is 10 times 10 is 10 to the second power. Okay? But then I thought, where in the world did they get 5 times 2? Oh, take the 5 from the dimes, okay, and the 2 with the rolls. So 5 times 2 gives you 10. And then how many zeros do you have? 1, 2, 10 to the second power. So we have 10 times 10 to the second power. If you're still confused, stick with me, okay? I'm always going to use this 5 from the dimes, okay? Because there's 50 dimes in one roll. So I'm always going to use that 5, and I'm going to multiply that 5 times something, okay? It's always also going to be 10 to the second power because we have the 0 in the 50, and all of these numbers up here only go to 1, 0, except for 100. And then I'll show you that one. All right, so I'm going to take the 5 times, because again, 5 from the 50 times, how many rolls are we doing? 30. So I'm going to take the 3 and I'm going to say 5 times 3. What is that? 5 times 3, 15 times, again, 10 to the second power because I have 1 0 in the 30, 1 0 in the 50, which tells me I have to do 10 to the second power. If you're still confused, stay with me. 5 times, again, because I'm taking the 5 from the 50, okay, so 5 times, how many rolls do I have? 40, so I'm going to take that 4. 5 times 4 gives me 20 times 10 to the second power. Again, we're always dealing with tens, you guys, because this whole unit is on tens, powers of 10. So it's always going to be 10. And I have how many zeros? 1 0 here, 1 0 here, so 10 to the second power. So again, how do I figure out this number? I take 5 from my dimes, okay, 5 from this 50, and then how many rolls do I have? I have 50, so I'm going to take that 5 as well, so 5 times 5 equals 25 times 10 to the second power. 60. All right, so I know I'm going to take 5. Remember, because 50 dimes, okay, so I take the 5 from that. And then how many rolls do I have? I have 60, so I'm going to take that 6. So 5 times 6 equals 30 times 10 to the second power. Okay, I'll do one more here. So 5 from my 50 times, how many rolls? 70. I take the 7. 5 times 7 is 35 times 10 to the second power. So you do the same for 80 and 90, but then you get to 100 and you think, uh-oh, now what? Now what do I do? Well, I'm still going to take my 5. 5. Okay, so we did 5 times 8, 5 times 9. Now I would do 5 times 10, right? And that would give me 50, right? And then how many zeros do I have? I would have 2 still. Or I could do 5 times 10 to the third power. Oops, sorry, this is supposed to be 50. Let me rewrite that. 50 times, right? Because 5 times 10 is 50. So then I would have 50 times 10 to the second power, Or, because some people have this, 5 times 10 to the third power, because I have 3 zeros. It's the same thing. Okay, this one is probably the one that would make most sense because it follows our pattern. All right, so then if I look at the quarters one, it's the same process, just different numbers. Okay, so now I'm taking, instead of 5 in the dimes, I'm now taking 4 because I have 40 quarters, and I'm multiplying that by how many rolls. Okay, so I'm going to take the first 2 digits. So 4 times 2 equals 8. And then how many zeros do I have? I have 1, 2, so 10 to the second power. Okay, so then my second one, I would take the 4 from the 40 quarters, take that 4, multiply it by this 3, and I would get 12 times 10, and how many zeros do I have? 2 to the second power. Moving over. Again, I'm going to take the 4 from the 40 quarters times this 4 from my 40 rolls, and I'm going to get 16 times, remember we're dealing with powers of 10, so it's always 10, and then how many zeros do I have? I have this 0 and this 0, so 2 zeros, 10 to the second power. And then I do it again, and I say, I take the 4 from the 40, okay, 40 quarters in a roll. How many rolls do I have? I have 50, so 4 times 5 is 20 times, it's always base of 10, and then how many zeros do I have? 2, 10 to the second power. And then you do that again down here, and again, you can say, by all means, you can say I have 4 from my 40 times how many rolls? Well, I have 100, so I know I'm going to make that 10. So 4 times 10 is 40 times 10, how many zeros do I have? To the second power. Or you can say 4 times 10 to the third power because I have 3 zeros. Okay, either one is correct. If that 4 times 10 to the third is confusing you, just keep with this, with our pattern. All right? And now I'm going to just show you really quick. I'm just going to show you one on this. Okay? So this is a chart where you take your first number and multiply it by the first number of the top. Now, this obviously, it's just 6 times 8 is 48. And then how many zeros do you have? In 80 times 6, only 1, so 10 to the first power. But when you move over to the 70, you're doing 80 times 70. Okay, 80 times 70. But you're going to make that easier in your head by saying 8 times 7, which is 56, times, now how many zeros do I have? Well, I have 1 over here, and I have 1 up here. So times 10 to the second power. Okay? So there are your examples to page 31, and don't worry, we're going to go over these on our Zoom as well.